where, sorry?
In Sanford, Gloucestershire.
That's in the country.
Yes, lovely.
Sanford isn't in Gloucester. Sanford is actually in Somerset, as is Wells, which is where they filmed Hot Fuzz. So hence the you might have recognised the pun in the name Nicholas Angle from Hot Fuzz, the main character played by Simon Pegg. So we travelled through a place called Sanford, which is where Thatcher's cider's made, and we also touched on the edge of Wells today. So we're still going south, very similar to the last stage in stage 3, but that's stage 4 done. 95 kilometres, about 430 metres of climbing. I was joined today by Anna Scott, who stepped in at the last minute. My previous teammate had a bit of a catastrophe with a COVID positive contact that she'd had, so rightly stepped out of supporting me today. So Anna came in at the last minute. I should probably call her Anna Philippe from now on as a nickname, because she did a brilliant job as a teammate, sat on the front in all the right places where we had a slight headwind, nowhere near as much as the last couple of days. Sat on the front, took the win for me, and then kicked my backside on the climbs, and then I managed to catch up on the descent. So thank you so much for riding with me, Anna. I know your legs were extremely tired from doing Keltman a couple of weekends ago, so that's a huge ask to come out and ride, you know, whatever it was, 95 kilometres with me today. I really appreciate that. Here's the video from today anyway.
Anna. That's brilliant riding, thank you. Brilliant riding.
So I don't normally talk about nutrition on this channel because as a qualified British triathlon coach, I'm actually not somebody that knows a huge amount about nutrition. I usually defer to people whose area of expertise is in that. And I've had a bit of help building up a plan of what I'm going to eat on the bike to fill me through. Now, obviously, I'm not 68 kilos and carrying, 0.4% body fat or whatever. I have got a lot of low intensity fuel to use up in my own body here, about 20 kilos of it, I'd say, but I still need to fuel myself through the ride. So I thought I'd very quickly talk you through what we arrived at as a plan to get me through each stage. As I say, I'm not riding at Tour de France paces here, so a lot of the energy that I'm using up doesn't quite go into the glycogen stores. It sits in the kind of fat burning range. So starting with the SIS gels, I'm having one of these an hour. I think they contain about 88 calories. And if you ever come across these things, these are delicious. You can get tomato ones or cheesy ones of these from Sainsbury's. I haven't found them anywhere else. They're called Higgity spinach and mini muffins with a hint of chili. Very tasty, these, and they look like this. And they taste like this. I probably shouldn't have eaten that on video, sorry. It's the first time I've eaten one of them not on a bike. It's a bit like having a kebab sober or something. Very tasty, that. So all I do with those is I wrap them up in some silver foil with baking parchment on the other side, wrap them up, pop them in my pocket. So on the hour I have a gel, and then on the half hour in between I have one of these, and these contain about 60 calories. So, but these are obviously not kind of very sugary. They're kind of full of fats, and there is a little bit of carbohydrates in there as well. But essentially between those two, the gels and these higgity muffins, whatever the hell they're called, very tasty, and it's kept me well fueled so far. I'll probably have to increase the gel intake when I start going into the Brecons, because each of those climbs is going to increase my glycogen usage, so I'm going to have to increase these a little bit. Onto the drinks bottles. So I have 750 ml of just plain water in the red bottle, and in the black bottle I have 750 ml of this SIS Go stuff. Now a 40 gram serving of this gives me 146 calories, and I'll pretty much nail one of these and that bottle of plain water on the ride. So that's what does that work out to be? 1.5 litres of fluids, and the gels and the muffins. That's pretty much all I have. Like I say, when I get into the beacons, I'll probably have another gel per hour, so that'd be 2 gels and one of those muffins. And then when I get back, I tend to have, on a hard day, I'll treat myself to this Torque recovery drink, the cookies and cream one, which I love. And on a normal day, I'll have this SIS Rego stuff. I find this a little bit more gloopy than this. This tastes a little bit more like a full-on milkshake with this. But as I said in the previous video, I don't mix this with water, I mix it with cashew milk. It just gives it a little bit of a creamier texture. And because the pros do it, but I also love it, I also have and treat myself to a can of Fanta afterwards. So that's pretty much like my nutrition. In the morning when I get up, 2 hours before I leave the ride, I have a couple of slices of brown toast to get the fibre in with some butter on it, and a couple of cups of decaf coffee, and then that's me ready to go. I have a normal dinner in the evening, and that should fuel me through. So far, that's worked in training in the big blocks. I'm not going to try anything new now. All I know is that I need to increase the glycogen intake when I hit the higher elevations in the Brecon Beacons.
Would they catch him? Wouldn't they? Alaphilippe did a wonderful turn. It was then be led out by Alpecin Phoenix. Medlia this time turning lead out man a day after he won. Phillips are launching the sprint. Bol there as well, but in the blue jersey, Mark Cavendish hitting the finish line at the front for the first time on the Tour de France in 5 years.
Let's talk about the Tour very quickly. So a pretty normal kind of average sprint stage with a small breakaway going off at the front, and then the peloton chasing on. And then one of the breakaway, Van Moor, incredible time trialist, kind of went off the front, and it was a real nail biter. I seem to remember a stage a couple of years ago with Tony Martin where it was right down to the wire, and this really was down to the wire. And it's very rare that I'll stand up and shout at the television with the Tour de France, but I must admit I was absolutely screaming at Van Moor to keep going just that little bit further. But once he got caught and dropped, what a sprint by Mark Cavendish. I don't recall him sprinting as well as that for years, and I don't mean the power, I mean just the savvy of the way he was dropped off by his lead out man, and the way he managed to navigate his way through was just spectacular. But I think more than that is just how much it meant to him. He'd obviously had been written off by pretty much everybody, and I think even including himself when he sort of said that might have been his last race a couple of seasons ago, and was very upset and wasn't at his best. And to come back and do what he's done so far, winning in Turkey and then winning that amazing sprint in the Tour of Belgium, then securing a spot in the Tour, and then taking stage 4. I don't know. I mean, the Tour this year has had absolutely everything. Highs and lows, terrible crashes yesterday, incredible sprinting today. And I can't wait to see what happens tomorrow with the time trial, because that is what we've got coming up. So for myself, I'm pretty much going to have the whole of the day off. I'm going to eat and sleep and rest, and I'm going to go to the supermarket and get some more of those muffins and all those other bits and pieces that will keep me going. But other than that, I'm not going to do very much during the day other than clean the bike and make sure everything's working, and test the TT bike out and make sure it's working for the evening, because I'll be off to Castle Combe tomorrow to race the time trial. Now, the kind of serendipity, the sort of luck really, should have it, is that on the day that the pros are riding their time trial, there is a time trial running at Castle Combe, which I'm going to go and race. And a huge thank you to James Higgs from DB Max, who have not only given me free race entry to race raise money, but also given a few of my friends. So I've got Chris Newman and Jeff Newman, Chris's dad. Chris, who you saw on stage 1, fantastic time trials. He will beat the 5 of us hands down. I have John Burridge and Jenny Campbell-Ritchie, who are really good old friends of mine from many, many years back. I've known them for a long, long time. They're going to come up and race, and we're the first ones off, and we will see what happens. We'll have a bit of fun. I'm not planning on going crazy tomorrow because it's followed by 4 fairly big days. Let me just have a quick look and see what we've got. So after the time trial, we've got a flat 89 kilometre day, and then we've got the 100 miler, or it's near enough 100 miler. It's 154 kilometres, so only 6k short of 100 miles. And then the last day before the rest day, we've got the Holy Trinity mountain stage, 93 kilometres with over 1,000 metres of climbing, and then a stage called the Limestone Cowboy, another mountain stage which is 90 kilometres and has 1,100 metres of climbing. So I've still got a lot of riding to do after this time trial. So I'm going to try and, I'm not going to just cruise around the outside at like 180 watts, but I'm also not going to try and fly around at 310 watts for the whole thing. I'm going to just ride it and get around it. I would ride it probably as a domestique. We'd have got to watch the time cut, so I've got to ride hard, but also at the same time not go so deep that it ruins me for the next day, because I've still got quite a lot of riding to do before the first rest day. So it's all about kind of being economic and everything else. That is about it for today. Stage 4 done and dusted. Fantastic riding from all of my friends so far and Anna today. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you to those that have donated. If you haven't subscribed to the channel and you want to keep watching me put me through my paces for the remaining 17 days of this, then you know what to do. Subscribe, hit the notifications bell, and leave me a comment below. The comments mean a lot, actually. I do read them and I do respond to all of them. Anyway, have a good one, and I will see you on stage 5 for the time trial.